coming to you live from the land of chlamydia-ridden koalas. It's time for Destiny Down Under.
Welcome to episode 238 of the Destiny Down Under podcast. I, as every fucking week, am Log Powerslave, joined by a very cranky Mylan Games, who's been caught by his main PC cheating with another PC. Explain yourself, young man.
Oh, he's Chris.
We picked Twitter.
We are nice. It's currently in the podcast. Thanks, Chris.
This look, just to let everyone know, right? If you're watching,
thanks, Chris. Did you get hold of Mum? Call Mum. She's trying to get hold of you.
Jesus Christ! Right, so
what a podcast.
There's a few things going on. Look, it's a fucking shambles. It's never not a shambles.
Why did I try build a PC before the podcast?
I don't know, Matt. The second you're like, yeah, I'll get it done. Yeah, no, it'll be right. We'll see how I go. I'm like, it's just not gonna fucking happen.
As soon as
look. We're gonna be a bit business.
Hard.
We're gonna be a bit business today. We're gonna fucking charge through some shit. Matt had difficulty getting his cameras to work, which is the first time he's had an issue at all, right? Like, so the Red Dragon.
Like I honestly can't get my camera working. I don't know what's up with it. So I have to use Papa Cam.
He's on Papa Cam, which is fine because he's a human, so it's an upgrade. This massive thunderstorm has just rolled in over me. Normally I would shit myself and turn all my electric devices off, but fuck it, we're gonna wing it. And if I get struck down, if this podcast suddenly ends, you'll know why, because Thor isn't a fan, and we'll get to fucking write him a strongly worded letter. But anyway, Matty, how was your morning with your wholesome morning with your brother building a PC together with your mum in chat? And probably the biggest announcement you'll ever make of your career too, which we can circle back to in a minute.
We'll circle back to that. I mean, I thought I was going well, and then when I flipped the motherboard, the CPU fell out, so obviously that wasn't in properly.
Have you got it to post yet? You're not there yet.
Not there yet, mate.
Oh. So you don't know if you've actually fucking fucked it or not.
We're not even close to that.
You're not that far off, I don't think. I don't think you're as far off as you think you are.
I've got such super low tolerance for technical issues. I just flip off the handle and I just want to punch everyone.
Yeah, you were pretty scary for about 5 minutes there while your cameras were working on. I'm not gonna lie. This is why you need hardwired shit, right? Like
this computer, right? For some reason, the keyboard stopped working. Actually, no, it was working. It was just typing the letter N constantly, and you couldn't get it out. No, just constantly.
Wow.
Actually, it wasn't
just
the
because
keyboard.
you were out in the other room building a new PC.
We unplugged the keyboard. I put another keyboard in. It was still typing N.
Have you explained to this current PC? I mean, technically, my voice is being broadcast to you through it now. So, have you explained to it that it's the gaming PC and that you're building a lesser, lowly streaming PC? Right?
I don't think it understands.
It's
still the nightclub fling. It's still the gaming PC.
Yeah, it's still the rig.
It doesn't need to be stable.
Yeah. It's the one you're going to want to play with. The other one's just for work.
It's reckless.
Yeah, right?
Anyway, that's fucked. So now I'm sort of pissed off because I sort of want this phone to work because we sort of needed 2 cameras for the
PC build. Yeah, it'll work. I believe.
We'll get it working again.
Yeah.
And then they announced
the big announcement.
Danny's a pregnante. Pregnant. Pregnant.
It's beautiful. I'm fucking so stoked for you.
Fucking Lord Daddy inbound. Actual Lord Daddy.
a little lawmaster kicking around. No doubt you're going to name him Bife, obviously, or her Bife. I guess Bife's a gender neutral name as much as we only know a male
Biff.
Bife.
Yeah.
Bife or Bifina. No, but that's beautiful. It's
we'll
great.
put a sub goal to name the baby, I reckon.
Don't do that because you'll end up with a fucking child called Law McLawface or something. You know what people are like? The second Matt's mum's in chat. Hello, Matt's mum.
Doing it for the PC, baby.
Oh, right. I'm gonna stop swearing. I'm gonna try.
Mate, you haven't met my mum. She swears more than me.
That's true. You did say that. You did say that. You did.
Not the
explain
C-bomb, though.
No, well, I mean, I don't think I've dropped one. If some lightning goes off, I will. But I imagine all the electronic devices are fucking cut off at the same time, so we're safe. Nature's dump switch. There you go. Yeah. All right, it's been a big week, right? Even aside from all of this, like PC building, baby making, fucking everything's all happening at once. We've had Halo launch, which I guess we'll circle back to after we talk through the Destiny abilities, because that is, we're a Destiny podcast. Sorry.
Oh, shit, a bit of struggle.
Log's choking on his podcast. So we'll do that. But yeah, I mean, far out. What a twab. I don't know that we're going to get through all of it. It is so meaty, in fact, that
you know the other thing happened?
What's the other thing that happened?
I didn't even tell my mum. Handed the PhD in. I've done all the edits. I've done all the adjustments. It has been submitted. I'm waiting.
So
I'm just waiting.
They've not even come back to you with anything. Like, yeah, that's it.
So I went to my supervisor. My supervisor gave me the feedback. I adjusted on the feedback. I redid everything, and then it's gone.
Beautiful. So
to the graduate school.
This could be the biggest week in your life.
Well, the thing is, I got it back.
Well, not really.
Right?
Yeah.
And I probably had a day's worth of edit. And what came out this week so I got the revisions back on the day Halo was announced. And I was like, are you serious?
Yeah, so you had like a day's worth of work before you could
right. And then the next day, what do we have? We had all of Danny's scans the next day.
Yeah, okay.
Like a 13-week scan, 12-week scans, whatever they are. I'm like, 5.5 years. Like, oh fuck! I just need a day to get this done.
You spent half a decade on it, and you pulled up 1 day short.
Yeah, basically. And I was just and then I think it was Thursday. I think it was Thursday. I got everything in. Yeah, it was all done. Well, so hopefully it just comes back with like, you've done great, you're fantastic, you passed. That's all.
And then the rebrand, the inevitable rebrand, Dr. Mylan Games.
Yeah.
And then just go off and ride off into the sunset, having children, playing video games. How good?
Yeah.
Gonna happen.
That's the plan. Halo Pro. building the Halo Pro team.
I got a feeling that you and I are talking about Halo at the back end of this podcast. Might
it's
get a
little
little
spicy.
Bit spicy.
It's gonna be spicy. Yeah.
I don't think it's quite going to be spicy the way you think it's going to be spicy because. Anyway, look, let's talk about Destiny, and that's your little prick tease to hang around for a fucking hour until we get to Halo.
Yeah. Because my bro's hanging around to finish the PC, so let's get it done.
Look, of all of the people, like, I need to explain this so that people don't just think I'm being an inconsiderate arsehole. I play a lot of video games with Chris all the fucking time. And I don't think he's ever attended anyone's stream, me or Matt's ever, at any point. He just turns up. He's kind of like annoyingly good at all video games. He doesn't sound anything like Matt, but he kind of looks like Matt now that I've seen him. He's definitely my favourite of the two of them, but I can't tell Matt that. So I'm not worried about inconveniencing Chris for a fucking hour. He can wait. He can just hang out. Is that his dog?
Right. Dog. He's got his doggy.
Dog. Right. Okay.
And you know what? I'm pretty up to speed on the patch notes, to be honest, because we read through. I don't think I'm going to read through it word for word. I think we can probably give people
I reckon we can do the bullet points and just springboard.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
we can do that. Because I mean, we predicted this last week where we said, it was the thing that we predicted right. We're going to get a mountain from Kevin Yanez, just an absolute trove of ability changes coming. Some are surprising, honestly. Some are big. So,
guess what, Loggy? It's gonna make it like Halo, and you're gonna hate Destiny now too.
I don't hate Halo. It just disappoints me. It just makes me sad on a fundamental level. But we'll get there because I know that you've gone all in on it. Right. Okay. So how do you want to go about this? How do you want to tackle it? Because, I mean, I'm scrolling through the thing right now and I'm already intimidated because it is
okay. I reckon I got a plan of attack. Let's just get 30th anniversary. It's coming December 7th. All these changes are coming with the 30th anniversary.
Yep.
Get ready. We're going to be talking about Sandbox. Kevin Yanes comes in, gives Yanez?
I said Yanez. Yanes sounds like a very Australianized pronunciation.
Yanes. Fucking Yanes.
Yanesy.
Yanesy. Oh,
Yeah.
he'd definitely be a Yanesy, yeah. They're going to go through each. They're trying to not get rid of. They're trying to limit the ability use in PvP. There's a lot of PvP specific tuning, and PvE has actually got a buff for some things. They want to make it so you don't spam an ability, and you have to think about using your grenade before you do it, essentially, or using your ability before you do it. And the rest should be
more or less
fire.
the entire approach is to bring abilities back down to below gunplay, right? Like that's kind of it. Destiny is a shooter first, and it kind of gets forgotten. I don't think it is. I don't think it is.
Were you not fucking playing Destiny at release? Destiny 2?
Yeah, look, I know, but I also don't think these changes will lead to that because they're kind of. I don't know. I mean, look, there's a lot.
I don't think so either.
Let's go through and discuss.
Yeah, right.
Let's go through.
The winds of change. Okay, so they give you an example of how they've made a system now where they could independently tune abilities. So the example they give is before grenades were every grenade recharged dependent on your discipline stat.
Yep.
Right? Regardless of how strong the grenade was or how functional it was, regardless of what it did, it was tied to your discipline stat. They've separated that now, and they can individually adjust grenades based on their performance.
Yep.
So the example they give is what a lot of people are upset about, which is a flux grenade from the Hunter, which now is a sticky, which is a one-shot sticky. Okay? Which people are upset about because they're removing other one-shot abilities, but they've added this in. There you go.
Yeah, but look,
the good thing is,
you look at the cooldown. You look at the cooldown, right? And that's where this.
So they increased the cooldown from 82 seconds to 182 seconds.
100 seconds in a Destiny match is a fucking incredibly long time, right?
Yeah. They increased the PvE damage by 15%. Increase detonation damage from 150 to 250, so it's a one-shot kill. They removed projectile tracking. They added small amount of aim assist. Increased throw speed to 117%. So it's just going to be a fast ball that sticks, essentially, that one-shot kill. But it's got a long cooldown. Oppositely, now they can tune other things like firebolt grenade. I assume this is for the warlock, right?
Yep.
Or is it all? They're both hunters. Who cares?
I don't know. I mean, I assumed it was warlock.
Yeah,
if you're in chat, let us know because I honestly don't care about this unless it's time and stuff.
Right. So this is gone from 82-second cooldown to 64. So it's got a. This is all at base, right? Base is tier 3.
Yep.
So it will still change based on your discipline.
Yeah,
but
you'll be able to ramp it up.
Base level.
They're standardized for the purpose of getting the point across. Yep.
Right. So they're reducing the cooldown, reduce the damage of the bolt from 90 to 65, increase damage versus PvE combatants by 15%. Right. There is a little bit of confusion, or it is hard to follow along sometimes because sometimes they're talking about global changes and then within that, sometimes they talk about a PvP change, and then sometimes they talk about PvE change. So I'm assuming that there's global changes, and then on top of global changes, there are PvE tuning and
PvE or
PvP
PvP specific changes.
tuning
And
in there
look,
too.
that's something that like we've gone on for we're 7 years into the franchise, and people have been clambering for like we know that some things have done it in the past, but now we're getting to the point where they're going, okay, well, you know, these aren't small changes. Like I think the thing that surprised me out of all of this is the scope of it, because it's fucking huge, honestly. Like it'll drastically change the way Destiny plays.
It makes a ton of sense.
Yeah.
Like the way they've done it.
Yeah.
You think, oh, this should have how it always should have been. But you can also appreciate that this is like a lot of work to essentially separate every ability to be tuned separately, and also tuned globally, but tuned PvP and tuned PvE.
What it feels like to me is something on the scale of jumping into the new abilities, the new subclass menus and stuff that we had when, like, either we got an expansion or we had, like the launch of Destiny 2. Like this is not that significant, but it's not far off either. It is,
it's pretty much opening for a very, very complex build system where everything needs to work together and you need to spec into something. It's going to really blow the doors off. And I think
theory crafting will go through the roof.
It's going to go through the roof. I do think there is a risk of losing new players, or just new players not realizing how deep the system is. But I'm hoping, the community will make up for that like they normally do and help people through.
I've got no doubt.
It's going to be a lot.
I mean, you look, we're blessed with an absolute depth of. Sorry to double down on the depth, but the depth of PvP content creators that'll absolutely eat this shit for breakfast.
Yeah.
So
and then they go on to say, with everything being individual now, when you hover over like your grenade, you'll see its base cooldown.
Yeah.
They mentioned I think there are some abilities that they mentioned that this is a tier 3, right? And that's not very intuitive.
It's middle of the road.
You potentially could be lower than tier 3, but at the moment it's going to display your base cooldown essentially. Yep. So they're looking at streamlining that system when you actually go into your subclass and have a look at the abilities and what they're sitting at.
I wish they'd I hope they start dealing in actual seconds. I feel like that would be a really opening move, like to actually just say, well, this is how long your countdown will be, the end,
Yeah.
All right. So
now we move on to
following your lead, big dog.
Yeah, I'm on it, mate.
Daddy
I'm bloody
Mine's
on
going to
it.
show us the way.
Let me just read this paragraph because this might set it up. One of our design goals this year was to reduce the amount of ability spam and crystal. Yes, put focus on gunplay. Yes, to this end, we've made ability cooldown times longer than average than we were before. We don't want the PvE experience to suffer for the sake of PvP balance, though. We've tried to compensate where possible. For example, we've increased all grenade damage versus PvE combatants by 15% or more. This should make grenades feel like bigger power moments than they do in today's game. Melee ability cooldowns haven't been increased quite as much as grenades, and some of the less aggressive melee attacks have a lower cooldowns than before. Class abilities have generally increased, but the changes vary depending on which ability is equipped right. So now we get on to Mike talking, and the next main thing is about supers.
Yep.
Super uptime, essentially. We'll get into the nuts and bolts in a moment, but let's talk about some of the goals because there's some stuff here. So the goals for the new system in PvE, super uptime should be relatively unchanged from the live game, if not slightly higher. Okay.
So more supers.
Yeah. When it comes to PvP, everybody should get at least one super in a 6v6 match that goes to the score all the time as long as they engage in regular combat. So what they are changing with the supers is it's still going to be influenced by your intellect stat. However, you're going to get super back with primary kills is going to give you the most, but damage taken and damage given.
Yes.
Dealt.
So it's going to more or less for participating in the game, because you are running around, you're either getting shot or shooting people. And that's, I think to stop people camping at the back of the map, not engaging, waiting for supers, all that sort of shit, genuinely what we would consider negative play. So
they don't want people. They use the example of Trials of Osiris and survival maps where they don't really want people using passive play to sit back, wait for the supers, and then going with the super. So you have to be participating to get your super back, essentially, or to activate your super, to get super energy, essentially.
Yep.
Super should be less frequent in 3v3 modes than in the live game, where 2 supers per match is a fairly regular occurrence. Not for me, but I guess for other people, I guess.
I mean, if you're getting all the kills, I guess. Well, I mean,
not in trials.
The other thing. No, depends. I mean, I have dealt with and you and I would have seen people who spec solely into intellect, for the purpose of getting that super up quickly, and they're always the really aggressive roaming supers that they can more or less wipe around with, and then you are dealing with usually 3 people who have all approached their build that way. So you have entire rounds where you are defending a super, which is clearly not the intention, and that's, I think, what this is designed to break up a bit.
Yeah. I mean, it was a real issue with the Kamehameha, Chaos Reach, and the boots for a while.
Yeah, I mean, it was compounded.
You were regularly seeing 2 of them, but that hasn't been as much of an issue recently. So
yeah, we'll pour one out for everyone in chat who doesn't even get 1 super in a 3v3 game.
Fucking hello.
Yeah, look, we're not that far ahead.
So primary weapon play should have a noticeable benefit in the super energy regeneration. So not primary weapon, not your shotties and your fusion rifles, but actually using your primary weapon.
I kind of like that synergy, to be honest, because it feels like an additional reward for, because when you think about a shotgun, right? A shotgun's a 1-hit kill, bang, sweet. But for a primary weapon, I think that having that additional reason for them to be valued is important. So it'll stop people leaning so hard on them, hopefully, anyway.
Yeah. And basically the different outgoing damage will have different contributions to your super energy. So primary weapon damage output is the highest return on super energy per damage point, right?
Yep.
So using your primary is going to get you super energy back quicker. So I wonder if somebody's sitting in a warlock stag rift and you're doing primary weapon damage, how much super are you going to get from that?
I mean, that's a smart play, isn't it? To be doing that. I'd like to think you would be rewarded for
I wonder if
building that way.
Dealt and received is the same percentage. It wouldn't be. You would say that damage dealt would be higher than received. Damage dealt would have to be higher
than received. But I can tell you one thing. Within minutes of this change going live, we'll know, because someone will sit there in a custom game just getting cracked. So I don't think you're going to have to operate on, blind faith for too long if that's your concern.
Now, on top of that, different supers are going to have... they're going to come online at different times. So they're sort of scale. Let me read it because I don't know the exact words. So to that end, we've separated supers into cooldown tiers that affect both the passive regeneration rate as well as the damage-based regeneration rate. This tiering was primarily influenced by each super's kill potential, where most one-off supers are likely to wipe a team or a room of combatants, but long-lasting room supers can and should have a trade-off as a result. We've taken into account general potency of the subclass kits where possible. So they're taking in consideration not just the super, but the entire kit in regards to where it sits in a tiered list for super generation.
Yeah, so for example, what that's saying is that like something that has an incredibly strong neutral game will still be factored into its suite of abilities, and just because its super is lackluster doesn't mean you'll get heaps of them.
Because basically you would have a strong neutral game and then you have a really quick returning super, which would feel
fucked.
pretty poggers.
Pretty big old poggers.
It's an
poggers,
example of this.
doggers.
So they say, later on we'll discuss shitter dive and changes we're making which impact how effective Revenant Hunter is. So it's shifted where we put the super basically in the tier list.
Yep.
This is the first iteration. It can change and will likely change. But here is a tiered list from the fastest regeneration supers to the least fastest. The fastest at
Hang
tier
on.
5.
I'll pull it up on the screen because I think that
Yeah.
I don't know where everyone lives. I don't know what your home ground is in terms of your the abilities that you love. So we won't jump to any conclusions. We'll just pull them all up, except the slow ones because who cares about that?
Fastest will
It's
be
fine.
Well of Radiance.
Makes sense
Someone
when you think about it because it is completely about support.
I think Well of Radiance is going to perform really well. I think it's going to be back. I think it's going to make this relevant for PvP because it's going to bump up your damage output with primary weapons
And your ability to survive being shot at.
and tanking. So, I mean, obviously, when that goes down, though, everyone's just going to avoid you. But if it's in an objective-based game, let's say a point in trials with the objective mode, maybe that will be fantastic as a option.
Yep.
Now, I don't think within the tiers, someone just asked, so tier 4 is Blade Barrage and Silence and Squall. I don't think there's differences within tiers. I think these are listed in
I think that they've
tier
basically
order.
got the same base regeneration rate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
So Blade Barrage and Silence and Squall should have the
Yep.
same, I think, because they're both in tier 4.
Yep.
So yeah, Silence and Squall is up there. It'll be interesting to see how Revenant Hunter plays and how that kit feels, because that I mean, I'm just absolutely dog shit with Silence and Squall. So and with that shitter dive, then it's and plus the shurikens have been nerfed in the ground too. So
I think they've walloped the fuck out of this subclass in particular. Like, I think, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on which side of the coin you're on, and I'm on both, you know, they've hit Shatter Dive so hard that Silence and Squall probably needs to be up more often. And as annoying as it fucking is to have a tornado of freezy shit thrown at you, I think that's probably... I think, honestly, I think a lot of people will move off the subclass. I think they'll find another way of, you know...
yeah.
I
think this subclass will be really competitive if they just bump up the melee a little bit, the shurikens.
Yep.
I think that you couldn't hit the fucking far side of a barn with those things, man.
I mean,
They've
you
got
couldn't. I'm sure someone
They got
can.
no tracking anymore. They're just absolutely trash.
All right, the other one, Blade Barrage. I don't think I've been Blade Barraged for quite some time, so I'm happy to see it getting a bit of a bump. I think maybe it's probably not got the strongest neutral game either. So
yeah.
Yep.
Tier 3, I mean, this one I'm excited about because Shadow Shot, fucking great neutral game. I mean, I think...
Well, I mean, this is mine. Do we both live in the same one?
Yeah. Shadow Shot,
right.
Burning Maul, Arc
3,
Staff, Nova Bomb, and Thunder Crash, both in tier 3. Interesting, I guess Arc Staff and Burning Maul are probably the only roaming supers in there. You don't... I think this might give Arc Staff a bit of a comeback, special middle tree, I guess,
I think so.
right?
I think it's on the cards. And I mean, when you factor in Arc Staff's inherent ability to kind of defend itself while moving around, I do think it could be very strong. The old pole dancer coming back.
Yeah. Burning Maul, I don't remember the last time I saw someone using Burning Maul in the Cruci.
Yeah, it's just not done, is it? I just don't think it's got the potential there to I don't know, it's kind of slow, right? It's just swinging around. It looks cool. That's about all I can say of it. Yeah. Nova Bomb, obviously, the classic, kill one person super, right? Like you're doing pretty well if you can get more than one with it, at least if you're me.
Honestly, I think Shadow Shot and Thunder Crash are probably performing the best out of the tier 3. Then, depending on how well you can use Arc, I mean, I'm just not very good with that class, but I think Arc Staff might be good.
I'll give my take on specifically. Like, I mean, I play as Thunder Crash Titan. Anyone who's watched my streams or whatever would know that pretty extensively over the last year. I I'm happy with where it sits, honestly. I think, like, if I'm honest, there is a lot of utility in like ballistic slam and all of that sort of stuff. And thunder crash, you need to be really quite, you can get a lot of kills with it if you time it perfectly, but for the most part, like, you're getting 1s and 2s. So I think that, and I can say that I agree with where it sits.
Yeah.
So,
So
cool.
tier 2's Golden Gun, Chaos Reach, Nova Warp, Storm Trance, Daybreak, Sentinel Shield. I mean, that all seems...
You want to know the thing that actually, the only thing about this entire list that really disappoints me is that Sentinel Shield sits down the bottom in that slow kind of regeneration rate when it is probably the second biggest support class of them all, because it's got the ability to roam and whack people as well. It's fallen victim to its own utility, right? Like,
because it can do both.
If there's anything that's comparable to Well of Radiance, it's the bubble, right? Or the banner shield, the big, your big shield. So yeah, I think that, like, it's almost a shame that they're not. It's not separated out, right? Like, you're not forced to just choose. And if you choose,
yeah, right. I didn't think about that.
If you choose to go bubble, then you get a much reduced cooldown so that you can play in, because think about how useful that is in terms of, something like trials where you're trying to control a point, or you might be timing down or whatever, or you're just simply trying to stay alive. Like, being able to drop that shield is way more important than being able to roam.
I guess you should be punished though, because you do have the flexibility.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. So, like, I agree with it, but at the same time, I feel like it's a shame. Because I don't know. Look, I wanted to be a bubble titan from day one. That was the, because it was like the tank thing. And while I see Well of Radiance sitting up here with its fast, regen time and all that, and literally no offensive utility beyond stand in it and get a damage buff, I really like that. I would love to see the Titan have something similar. And, if they can figure out how to make the Hunter that as well.
I guess you walk around with your shield. Tier 1 slowest regeneration, Spectral Blades, Fist of Havoc, Hammer of Soul, Glacial Quake, Winter's Wrath. I mean, I look at them and I'm like, they're all the top performing PvP supers except for Spectral Blades. When was the last time you were killed by fucking Spectral Blades?
I have been a bit of late, actually.
Have you?
Yeah, I have. And it's
in trials?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. And it's the only place I think I have. I don't know whether it's just like doubling down on the invis and all of that shit or what, but it's the only place I've really seen it. And I'm not going to say that I've seen it a lot because I haven't, but clearly the people that I played against were good enough with it that it scared the crap out of me. So I remember it. So here we are.
Yeah. There you go. So, I mean,
how do you feel about all of this?
Well, Fitzpatrick was getting fucking hit pretty hard. So be interesting to see how that stacks up when we get to it a bit later on. Hammer of Soul, yeah. I mean, Glacial Quake, I don't feel like is that good at the moment, to be honest. I mean, people are going to... Winter's Wrath, I think, is easily the best super right now for the Warlocks.
Yeah, it's insane.
Those things fucking
so
track
much
you across the
range,
bloody
so
map.
much speed, so much utility.
Yeah.
Just
this is
really
the thing. Like,
comprehensive.
a lot of the other ones you can see, like, okay, I get you got a good neutral game. Like, yeah, I guess Winter's Wrath has a bit. Yeah, no, I'm dumb. Yep, that's right.
Move on.
I answered my question in my head before I fucking said it all out loud.
No, it's good. It's fine. It's better than saying it and looking like a big dumb babega.
Hold on. Someone said Sentinel Shield's tight. Hold on, what's this? As Kevin Eric mentioned, it sets up the future for the move towards subclass 3.0. As example,
look, I've answered my own fucking question.
Yeah.
What is
the
genius?
3rd anniversary, like Deadfall and Mobius Quiver variants of Shadow Shot will share the same cooldowns here, but with the Void 3.0 launch, they could exist in different tiers. By the same token, Ward of Dawn, which is currently tied to Sentinel Shields, will be moved to into tier 5 as a standalone super with Void 3.0.
I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I don't remember reading that, and I don't think I did, but maybe like my eyes osmosised it into my brain, and that's how I know that. Like, I've passively read it. I went through and looked at all the choice cuts. I somehow glossed over that, but that's great. I'm very happy to hear that.
Right. Now we're getting to some big chunky meat and potatoes. taking it down a notch. Now we're going to talk about non-super abilities.
Yes.
The overall goals are weapons are the primary way players engage with combat. Non-super abilities accentuate or augment the combat, but rarely solve an encounter by themselves. Unless you're a one-shot flux grenade. Abilities have clear strengths, weaknesses, and counterplay. Build crafting is rewarding with moment-to-moment combat loop of destiny. This all makes sense. These are all
sounds
great
like a
goals.
brilliant mission statement, right?
Yes.
Like no one is going to argue with any of that.
So the bunch of stuff I'm about to say now is we've tuned PvP energy regeneration separately from their base PvE values, which are not changing.
Yep. Which
Right.
it's a fair departure from Destiny as a whole, right? Like when you think back that the line was held for a very long time about no, we want this to perform the same way
Similar.
in both.
They're like, we want your Guardian to feel like your Guardian across PvP and PvE.
So it'll be interesting to see what the actual cost of that is, whether people feel like it's a jarring experience to jump from one mode to another, or whether they just accept it for what it is. And, if look, if PvP is more fun, no one's going to give a fuck. Like, that's the reality, right? Like, no one's going to care.
I mean, the only thing scaring me now is I'm going to have like a whole set for PvE, a whole set for PvE. Like, and, that's...
I mean...
I know. People love that. The lazy players like me...
Yeah, it stings me as well. I'm kind of... Like, I'm a bit more invested in that sort of shit than you are. But only because there was probably a year that I played more extensively and I've managed to keep bits of shit. So I've got a few sets. Like, I could probably have 3 on my Titan. But when I go to play on other characters, I don't have any of that shit, and I really feel the lack of it. So I get it, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. The most Destiny's my favourite game players already have their PvE sets and PvP sets, so whatever.
Indeed.
Subclass neutral game perks. These perks have had their ability energy regeneration reduced by roughly 50% in PvP.
Half. That's half if you're not statistically inclined.
So,
half.
Look, I don't think we need. I'll talk them out a little bit, but so like Whisper of Shards, which is a stasis fragment. Now that would boost your grenade recharge rates after shattering a stasis crystal. So that's been halved.
Yep.
Right. Arc Web for the Stormcaller is your grenades, and when you chain lightning, each chain will generate grenade energy. Right. So that's been halved. Yep. So basically, all of these things will give you some sort of energy back, whether it's grenade, melee, or class energy of some sort, and all those energy returns have basically been halved.
Yep. So it's a considerable neutering of, Inertia Override is one of those perks that it's been very powerful for a fucking very long time. Like, I haven't played on that subclass for a considerable amount of time now, but it has always been strong.
So that's the one that's the only one that's a bit odd because it's not. So it's picking up ammo, right, during a side reload to equip weapon and increases weapon damage.
Yeah.
So that's just an ability that's been halved, right?
Yeah, but I mean, if they half the damage that it gives you or something, I don't know. I can't. Is there an inherent cooldown with that? Does it cool down your melee? Maybe it does.
That's only I don't know what they changed because all the other ones are all very, very easy to sort of understand because they give you, ability energy of something.
Sure, someone's smarter than us in
I think
chattel.
Stormcaller is the one that's been affected the most because that build is basically about just spamming abilities. Yeah.
Yep.
It's about it's the Arc Web, Rising Storm, which is your ranged melee, the Onyx Traces, which are the little things that come towards you, and the Electrostatic Surge is your Rift charges fast when allies are near.
But I think look, when you think broadly about the power of these things is that you don't need to have anything up or be prepared in any way to get these buffs. Right? They're something that just inherently happens. Like I mean, sure, with inertia, you've got to slide over a fucking special ammo. But there's special ammo fucking everywhere, and you're doing it all the time once you make a habit of it. Most of the others is just about hitting people with a certain type of damage or whatever. So it is a very there's no real decision making behind it beyond knowing that it's powerful and using it, right?
Yeah. Right. So then moving on with subclass in super perks. Essentially things that are extending your super uptime.
Yep.
And they've rescaled the energy refund DK more aggressively in PvP. So minimum energy refund is reached roughly twice as quickly. Let me see if I can find a better sentence. Essentially, you're going to get less. So the first kill in super returns more super energy than the third kill.
Yeah, so it's like a depreciating scale, increases. And you'll hit the bottom of it probably. I don't know, at a pun, I reckon like the fourth kill, you will not. You're at the point of depreciating. It does tell you.
Return. I think before. Yeah, it says somewhere in here about the actual number, but essentially, Dawnblade Warlocks, Everlasting Fire, and Trample for your Striker Titans.
Again, something that you are just doing anyway and getting a perk from without making a conscious decision to activate, right? Like, I mean, of course, if you're a fucking Striker Titan, you're going to run around and get as many kills as you can. And just doing that rewards you for doing what you were doing anyway.
Yeah. Yep. Which is great because they're pretty serial offenders, Striker Titans, like getting killed, especially in sixes. Like you could respawn
and you get killed twice in the same super, and you're like, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
How? Yeah. I don't think I've ever killed anyone twice in the same super, but moving on.
Right. So exotic armor is also going to get a once over that potentially. Each exotic below had a custom tuning pass focused on their ability energy return in PvP. Now, Frosties. They used to increase grenade. I actually written that. They used to increase grenade, melee, and dodge regeneration while sprinting. And dodging increases your sprint. And now no longer stacks multiplicatively in PvP and with other regeneration buffs. It's now additive.
Shout out to multiplicatively.
Yeah. Fuck that word.
Just multiple times. Speak to the common man.
Speak to the common multiple times, yeah. No change in PvE. Right. So it's not going to stack as well. Yep. Heart of Inmost Light, which was using an ability, grenade, melee, or barricade empowers the other two abilities. They have faster regen when they're empowered. And so now it is ability energy regeneration scalars reduced by 50% in PvP.
That's a fair whack.
So, nearly all of it's like 50%. Yeah, right. It's been halved.
Yep. Controverse holds.
Controverse holds. Used to resist incoming damage while charging a void grenade with chaos accelerant, feed the void, or handheld supernova. Charged void grenades return a random amount of grenade energy on hit. So now it is duration of the grenade regeneration buff is no longer random. Between 1 and 4 seconds, it's now fixed to 1.75. Reduced grenade energy regeneration by 50%.
Yeah. So it's going to be much less a problem to come up against that. Right.
It's going to be consistent and consistently reduced.
Yeah, it's consistently slower. Much like you're seeing a theme here. If you're listening at home, listening along on your Monday at work, there is a theme here. It's about half being gone or slow.
Doomfang Pauldrons reduce super energy gain on activation when an opposing player is killed by void and melee by 50%. Right, because Shield Bash gives you Shield Bash melee kills recharge your shield throw. Right.
Yep.
Shinobu's Vow, which was a skip grenades for hunters, reduced, and I think you just had to get damage.
Yeah, they get hits, as I believe it. Anyway.
And reduced grenade energy gain on hits versus plays by 66. That's 2/3. Big math.
Wow, it's beyond 50.
Big one. Crown of Tempest. Originally, arc ability kills increase the recharge rate of your arc abilities. Right. So that's like any of the other ones. Grenade, melee, and super energy regeneration scalar buff duration reduced from 7 seconds to 4. I don't really get this one to 4 seconds in PvP. Increases your recharge. I don't know.
It doesn't last as long.
It's an energy regeneration buff.
It's ending earlier, so it's about it's reduced by 3/7.
And the stag reduced class ability energy refund on shield break by 50%. Previously, your rift provides damage reduction. Yes, grants rift energy when you are critically wounded. Right. So when your shield breaks, you get less back. Right.
Right, yeah.
Armor mods. This is pretty easy. There's a whole bunch of armor mods that basically just...
Yeah, we're going to read them out real quick. Now they're like cut in half by 50%. 50% off!
Basically, like melee kickstart. You use your melee, you get a bunch of melee energy back. Grenade kickstarts grenades.
You get half it now. Half.
Yeah.
That's it.
Melee kickstart, grenade kickstart, utility kickstart, perpetuation, bolstering detonation, focus ring strike, bomber, outrage, dynamo, distribution, momentum transfer, impact induction. Look them up. I had to look them up if you want to know what they do. Or I could bang them through them if you want me to tell you what they do.
No, God, no.
All right.
Fuck me. It's been long enough.
Oh, great. There you go. Dang, this is long. This is the next paragraph.
It's a vibe.
I think going through this once, I definitely think I'm giving people the highlights.
You're doing the choice cards. I'm kind of sitting here in awe, not having to contribute all that much, or just chime in with something, which I'm enjoying that. So,
Stasis crystals. This is the good one, right? This is in general addressing stasis crystals, but it obviously nerfs Shadow Dive Hunters, but I don't know. I still think I'd be interested to see how this plays out. I'm definitely interested. So let's see what they're doing with stasis crystals. As far as PvE is concerned, stasis crystals will still freeze combatants, and we've increased stasis crystal detonation damage versus PvE combatants. Right. They want to... Oh, looking at the numbers, it was almost always better to shoot directly at a combatant instead of the crystal near the combatant. This change should help crystals better live out their explosive barrel dreams. Essentially, in PvP now, stasis crystals are not going to freeze enemy players. They're going to slow them. In PvE, they will still freeze them, and they should be extra explosive.
So very cool.
While forming, stasis crystals now slow nearby enemies instead of freezing them. Like I said, in PvE, they're still going to freeze them. Increased slow freeze radius while forming. So both PvE and PvP are going to have an increased radius from 1.75 to 2.6. They reduced crystal detonation damage versus players by 55%. So exploding a crystal will do less damage to players. Increased detonation damage versus PvE by 60%. And increased detonation radius from 6 to 8 meters.
So you're going to be able to go in and absolutely rip in fucking PvE, right? Like,
Revenant's going to be always, really well.
That's always been the drawback of stasis, right? Like, everyone was always like, like there was always this debate of, we're nerfing these abilities in PvP and it makes them borderline impotent in PvE. This is very much a move in the opposite direction.
To be honest, Revenant Hunter was pretty good in PvE already.
Yep.
Especially something like Vogue, where you got like a bunch of ads. Just like, it's so good for controlling a bunch of shit tier ads. Yep. It's going to be really good for that now with these changes. So that's a silver lining for any Revenant mains, I guess.
I mean, they're going to need one, right?
No one's going to fucking say they're a Revenant main anyway.
No one's put their hand up. Everyone's like, yeah, fuck Shadow Dive. I never used it anyway. Yeah, I mean, like, yeah.
I mean, I played Revenant Hunter when I really, really wanted to win trials.
You were toxic with it the first week of trials, and then I think the guilt kind of crept up on you and you stopped.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was everyone just kind of like, that's disgusting, Matt. Stop it. It's like you're just masturbating in public. Stop it. No one needs to.
I stopped using it because I knew it was going to get nerfed, and I was like, I should find my next subclass,
Yep. And you were right.
Now, hunters in general, on to the next changes. Dodge.
Dodgy.
Dodgeru is
Dodgy.
being nerfed. Let me read you this paragraph because there's some tricky stuff in here. In order to meet a goal of less ability spam in the Crucible, we're reducing how often hunters can dodge. Gambler's dodge, is getting hit the hardest because it can completely circumvent melee ability cooldown times. If you're not a hunter, basically, if you dodge near an enemy, you get your melee back. So,
yeah, wild.
they're not happy with that. It also completely changes a hunter's silhouette in PvP. This is the long roll, making it very powerful. In addition, it breaks projectile tracking, meaning it's a get out of jail free card when a tracking rocket or another slow moving projectile is flying towards you. Wish I knew that. Right.
Now you tell me.
Now you tell me. So, no longer breaks projectile tracking.
Yep.
Okay, whatever. Marksman dodge, tier 10 mobility increased, cooldown increased from 11 to 14 seconds. Base cooldown unchanged at 29 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
So a 3-second increase at tier 10, which most hunters are running tier 10.
Yep.
Mobility.
Yep.
Gambler's dodge increased from 11 to 18 seconds. So 7-second increase at tier 10. And the base cooldown went from 29 to 38.
So it still exists as a means to instantly get your melee back, but there is a fair whack to being able to do that, and you're going to need to be very conscious of how and when you apply it, very, in a deliberate manner. And I think that that's probably the takeaway there. It's not just going to be getting a thing and magically getting an engagement. Oh, I've got dodge up, cool, sweet, got a fucking melee back, no worries. Very less.
I'm happy for people. This
frequent.
is the hard thing, and this is what we were actually talking about on DCP, and there's probably comments correcting us now as well, but this seems like a global change, right?
It does.
This is not, is this PvP
It does. It's going to make fucking
It's
Nightfalls very hard.
Everyone knows with the Hunter, you could stay invis for the entire time.
Yeah,
That was the thing.
by abusing
Just
this
like-
mechanic, really.
Just like Devour Warlocks could constantly have health regen by killing shit.
Yep.
And that was the power fantasy with the Hunter. I don't know if that fucks up the timing now for your dodges and your reloads and your melees. And Oculus probably still get you through it, maybe. I don't know.
Unsure.
Double melee. Or maybe you need to spec into it. I don't know.
Well, I mean, look, if you're getting into a point where you can keep yourself invisible perpetually, I think speccing into it should be the minimum, right? like speccing into it is, you should have to do that. And I don't think that's inherently bad. Like, it was the amount of fucking Nightfalls I've managed to get through by one hunter doing exactly this.
In this res, yeah.
That we probably didn't deserve to get through in the grand scheme
But
of
here's
things.
the thing. That's the hunter's role, though. That's his power. That's what it's meant to be doing.
That's true. That's true.
Just like you're
Particularly
meant
in
to be tanking shit in a bubble. I mean, that's doesn't matter. I think it'll be
you're
fine.
right.
I think it'll be
I
fine.
agree. I'll be interested to see how it pans out because I'm sure it's something that would have factored in.
Because that to be honest, that is the crutch subclass for doing hard shit on solo.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
are they going to change Devour then? Is that going to have less cooldown? Because that's an ability.
Don't be petty.
That'd be petty. Sorry. My toy got taken away, so I want your toy to get taken away. Hey?
Yeah, right.
Right. Shed Dive. It's going to be less lethal because of the stasis crystal changes. Be more lethal versus combatants due to stasis, like in PvE. Increase shatter damage versus frozen combatants by 100% in PvE. I think this is going to be great.
So it should be, right?
Yeah. I think it's actually going to 100% fill. Revenant Hunter, I think, could be the best example of what Stasis should be in PvE.
Yep.
It's got to be a very good control class.
But also the ability to turn it into some pretty devastating damage output over like AoE effects as well.
Yeah, but not for boss. But I mean,
No,
I don't know.
I mean like for ads, for ad control and whatnot.
Can you freeze bosses?
Not that I know.
Sort of can for a second, can you? I wonder what that's going to be like.
I don't know. Maybe everyone just has to gang up on them and go. Maybe if everyone does it at the same time, you can.
I mean, freezing
I don't know.
champions.
Honestly, like
freezing champions.
You look at the way we are talking about it now. We're speaking about it. We don't even know the answer to this question because Stasis has been such a non-event in PvE for so long that we've never had to even know the answer. So,
I think Revenant's
look forward to finding out.
But I never used it that much.
That's
Depends what you're doing.
Subclass, man. Who gives a shit? Moving on.
There's some changes to the Grim Harvest aspect. Increase fragment slots from 2 to 3. I don't really know what that means.
We didn't even read Shadow Dive, did we?
Yeah, I read the dot points. Yep.
All right. Do you want to read them again? Just for fun.
I've told you can't. Oh, sorry, Mum. More lethal. I'm still here. More lethal versus players. No, sorry. Less lethal versus players due to the stasis crystal changes. More lethal in PvE because of the same changes.
Yep.
Increased shadow dive damage by 100% on PvE.
Yep.
On frozen targets.
Yep. Very good.
They just said we missed the mark. It was over the top. It's pretty hard to balance. It shouldn't one shot. You could Shadow Dive may still kill if the hunter is using Whisper of Fishes, Touch of Winter, and the target is in the very center of all 6 crystals.
Yeah, so you basically got to get tagged by multiple crystals.
All 6 crystals.
For all of that to line up is, that's a skill shot, right, on part of the hunter, and I'm fine with it. But I do think that, this will still have some utility for mopping up damaged enemies that are hiding around a corner or whatever. I think, there's enough there that it basically kind of brings it back to that ballistic slam kind of, okay, well, I've put 2 shots into this guy and he's run around the corner. I know that I can fucking throw my grenade and shadow dive at low risk and probably finish him off.
Yeah. Yeah. Top tree arc strider combination blow reduced a base cooldown from 96 to 15.
I don't know what that does, but now I'm terrified of it.
Hold on. Did I write it down?
This change to the combination blow melee was made possible by our variable ability cooldown system. Previously, top tree arc striders were basically required to use Gambler's Dodge with this tree. We hope this change will make this ability viable even if you're using Marksman's Dodge.
I'm pretty sure if you dodge near an enemy, you get increased damage on your next melee hit.
Whack, right. So, I mean, it would be completely useless if not for this cooldown. There we go. Righto.
I imagine you're just going to be twirling everywhere and then just fucking punching the shit out of
I don't know the intricacies of this.
Increased range when you dodge, right? There you go.
Right, bottom tree Night Stalker.
You probably put it with Liar's handshake, and you'd just be like smacking the shit out of everything.
Oh, here you go. Look, bottom tree Night Stalker. Vanishing Smoke Melee is now has low damage output but high utility. Our data shows that this subclass tree is struggling in PvP, so we've decided to increase how often Pathfinder hunters can go invisible. We've reduced the base cooldown from 96 seconds to 75 seconds, so there will be more invis.
Yeah, it's bottom tree.
Whatever. I don't care.
Punchy punch.
I'm trying to make fucking.
So when you punch him, you go invis. Cool.
Right.
Hey, you go. You want to cry with this?
No, actually, I'm not. Like, right. I'll read it out. Shoulder charges. No longer one-shot players. All shoulder charges. So whether it's a hammer one, a void one, an icy one, a fucking electric one, none of them will one-shot players. Sprint activation for getting your shoulder charge up to execute it has been reduced from 1.5 to 1.25 seconds. If you can even tell the difference, I'll eat my own hair. Increased range from 5.5 to 6.8 meters. So there's a bigger fucking lunge. Targeting cone width has been increased by 10%. So basically the gist is You'll no longer one hit, but it'll be easier to hit people from a greater range, from a wider arc, and you'll do more damage to PvE combatants, which is, seems to be a pretty generic across the board theme.
And you'll be able to use it as a movement thing now. They're hoping you might use it as a movement skill, I guess.
Yep.
The arc gets a fucking blind on hit though, which would be interesting.
Yeah, right. So we'll read this. Seismic Strike, the arc shoulder charge, reduced AoE from 90 to 40. Now blinds enemies in the area, so not necessarily even the one you connect with, but like in the immediate vicinity on hit, and increased base cooldown from 82 to 90 seconds. So it's a minute and a half. It's a fucking eternity in PvP. Shield Bash, reducing AoE damage from 90 to 40. So if you're in the area, you'll take less damage. Increased base cooldown from 82 to 90 seconds. Hammer Strike, reduced direct impact damage from 170 to 120. So it'll still go most of the way to killing you, but won't outright, obviously. And increased base cooldown damage from 82 to 90 seconds. I'll say this, right? I'm not against this change. It doesn't bother me in any way, but I can't really remember shoulder charging being a problem.
In a while.
Not for a good while. Like, I got shoulder charged a couple of weeks back, and I was like, what the fuck? It was such an alien experience that, like, maybe they've just been coasting along below the radar and, I haven't encountered it. I felt it was funny because I was taken aback. I was like, who the fuck shoulder charges anymore? So, it's fine. I mean, initially, shoulder charge wasn't a one-hit kill in Destiny 2, right? Like, it's basically reverted to that somewhat, but more utility, which is cool. It gives a bit more separation in what each of them do rather than them being constant across the subclasses. Barricade. Towering Barricade, increased base cooldown duration from 37 to 40 seconds, so you won't have it up quite as often. Rally Barricade, it's half the height. Reduced base cooldown duration from 37 to 32 seconds, so if it's smaller, you can get it up quicker. Let's just go with that. Behemoth, I don't know, I haven't seen a Behemoth in fucking ages. Diamond Lance, increased fragment slots from 1 to 3. Yeah, okay, so you've got a bit more utility there. Now spawns Diamond Lance upon killing a PvE combatant with a stasis weapon, killing 3 players with a stasis weapon in a single life, killing an enemy with a stasis ability, shattering an enemy. So you won't be dealing with it too much in PvP.
Yeah, you get the little
spear.
Stasis spear.
Yep. Shiver Strike, increased Shiver Strike damage while in Glacial Quake by 50%. Whisper of Chains, increased damage resistance versus PvE combatants from 25% to 40%. There you go. Bottom Tree Striker. This is, look, if there was a problem child on the Titan side of the fence, they got a big whack. This is it. Probably fucking deservedly so, because he's been strong for an incredibly long period of time. Knockout, melee lunge range, and melee damage bonus now deactivate after a melee kill. Yay. Trample. We've been over this, but basically there's a law of depreciating returns on what you'll get for killing during your super. Super energy gain from Fist of Havoc light attack now decays to a minimum amount over 3 PvP kills, down from 7.
Yeah.
Like, that is beyond an entire team wipe before it even kicked in.
Yeah. That's why you were getting killed multiple times. Yeah.
Yikes. Frontal Assault, increased base cooldown from 82 to 106 seconds. And Fist of Havoc itself, heavy slam radius reduced from 8 to 6 meters, bottom tree only. Oh, we're into Warlocks now.
Warlock. This is news to me, but apparently Warlocks couldn't hit as fast as everyone else. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
They would lose slapping fights. So uncharged melee, but they had increased range to make up for it.
Yep.
So now they're reducing the melee range to 4.5, which matches Hunters and Titans. But they also reduce the suppression time after melee. Now melee back to back at the same speed as Hunters and Titans.
Very good.
Slappers. Metal Tree, Void, Walker, Handhold Supernovas getting a bit of a boop. Reduced damage versus players. Now deals 150 damage max. increased damage versus champions and bosses by 30%, increased projectile range but to 12 to 14, now pushes targets away from the warlock on detonation.
Yeah, so it's basically removing its ability to be a one-hit kill, right?
Won't be one hit, but you'll boop them away, which might allow you to do a different combo.
Yeah, bump them back.
Nova
and
Warp,
tap them.
increased damage versus champions and bosses by 30%.
Okay. Just
PvE.
straight better. There you go.
Yeah, yep. Shade Binder. This, out of the, look, considering how fucking hard Titans got hit, I do feel like Warlock's got off pretty lightly on Shade Binder.
Yep. We'll see.
All right. Well, here's the thing. The main thing, reduce shatter pulse damage versus enemy supers. So they want you, if you freeze and someone else in their super, they want it to take 2 shatters to kill them. Freeze them once, shatter. Freeze them twice, shatter. Now generally freezes and shatter also was twice to eliminate. Penumbral Blast, increase proximity detonation radius versus PvE combatants by 100%.
Cool.
And Bleak Watcher, while Bleak Watcher is equipped, all stasis grenades charge at glacial grenade rate. That's it.
Cool. So not much of a change. No change really.
That's what I'm saying.
PvP.
That's what I'm saying.
I think there's a few subclasses that aren't, and like to bring this home specifically to me, I read through all of this waiting for my subclass to cop a whack, and it just didn't. And I know that it's relatively strong, right? Like Thunder Crash with Dune Marches, with Ballistic Slam. It's kind of, you know, the super's in the middle of the road, so it's probably not changed all that much, and the rest of it's kind of untouched. I was surprised, honestly. I thought Junies were going to cop a big whack, but I mean...
Oh,
you know,
June Marches can get fucked too.
but look, but they haven't. I'm probably going to regret talking about this in a public forum. I shouldn't have said anything and just kept my head down and gone about my business. But I think if they can get rid of the glitch where it hits people twice, it'll go a long way to, you know, help. Like, it's annoying.
My issue with the
I know it's
subclass,
annoying as someone who uses it.
My issue with the fucking Shade Binder is you can't escape it.
Yeah, it's very, very quick. And
if they get eyes on you and left click, those little fucking stasis balls will freeze you.
Yep, but, let me scroll all the way back up here. Where does it live in terms of our tier list?
Tier 5. But so does yours.
Tier 5.
So does the bottom tier.
Yeah, so it's slowest. You frighten the crap out of me then.
But yeah, but so does Bottom Tree Striker. So does Bottom Tree Striker.
Yeah, I mean...
And that got fucking slapped.
It got slapped. You got the shit slapped out of it. So, okay. Maybe it was just like it needed the lesson, right? Like there's been people that have been crutching it for 4 years. You're finally going to have to do something else. Get some diversity in your gameplay. Fucking hell.
Overall, though, fantastic.
I'm really excited by this. Yeah. And like, yeah. Look, not that I think that I read everything here and go, yes, this is perfect and this is going to, like, you know, be a one and done thing. I like that we're breaking up things in terms of recharge rate. I think that that's probably the most game changing thing we've seen happen in Destiny for a long while. And I think that we can really get a lot of value out of just that. You know, like, look, this is fucking really powerful. You won't have it up as often. Great. It's cool. So that's really it. I think can we get a round of applause in chat for Matty, who just spearheaded that whole thing and and worked his way through it, and let me just chip in and chime in on the back. Like,
that's what happens. We went through it in detail.
Painful detail. All right. Well, I mean, look, there is other stuff going on.
The only other weird thing is Destiny 2's leaving Xbox Game Pass just for Xbox though, not for PC.
Yeah, that kind of look.
I don't know. Speculate all you want.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Oh, look, I think they obviously tested it out and they thought, nah, it's not worth the money. I think we're better off just charging. That's what I think happened.
Maybe,
And they obviously
yeah.
got a contract, so PC is going to stay around because I think it only just sort of got there. So I think whenever their contract's up for PC, they'll probably get rid of it too.
Awesome. That's it. I mean, that's the bones of it. Obviously, there's the usual top stuff, some movies of the week, some incredible art, all that sort of gear, and classic, rats and mice stuff. But jump in and read it for yourself, right? You don't need us to read player support or whatever.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
You want to talk about Halo, Maddie? Because it's really all you've done all week, except knock up your missus and build a PC, and finish a PhD. Very quickly,
because I want to get back to building PC.
Yeah. Yep.
I think Halo is nothing like Destiny 2. I think Halo players that went to Destiny 2 have probably moved on from Halo PvP, and some people are having a hard time going in. I think if there are certain things you don't like about Destiny 2 PvP, Halo might be the game for you. And if there are things you don't like about Halo PvP, Destiny's the game for you. I think Halo is very, very team orientated. It feels incredibly balanced and sweaty. Angles, fucking bouncing. You have grenades off corners of walls, pinging the enemies, high comm. The ranked games that we played, we fucking sweated out. We won them by 1 kill at some points.
Yeah, even the games that we played, you and I. I mean, that would have been your early games, right? But
the reason why I like it is I don't really have a competitive shooter in my life right now, and it's sort of fun being competitive. I don't know how long that passion will last. It's definitely better in a team. Obviously, the game modes are just a breath of fresh air to have this rotating oddball, capture the flag. I just think it's nice to have like a competitive mode that keeps changing how you work as a team. The time to kill is really high, which obviously is intentional. And what happens is you can't do shit like 1 versus 3s. It's very hard to clutch around unless you have all the things aligned. Like you have the right equipment and you're in the right position on the map, hell yeah, you can. But if you just got what you spawned in with, which is ranked just your BR, it doesn't matter how good you are aiming. If you come across 2 players, you're gonna die.
Yeah.
Unless, and this is where it's like, unless you got the angle, unless you get the grenade off first, or unless you get double grenades off and you take off their shield, like, Yeah,
look, there's a level of strategy that's there that isn't in a level of teamwork strategy that is there that isn't necessarily present in Destiny, at least not at the moment, right?
It's even like planning, like, then I went back to play Destiny. And you can get caught out in Destiny, but still come out on top.
Yep.
So like I was out in the open. I was like, fuck, hunted dodge behind a pillar, went invis, got off the radar, charged up my fucking second weapon, which already had ammo for, took him out. By the time the other guy came in, I had another grenade, and that feels cool. But Halo is not that.
Yeah, no, and it's very much not. And look, I'll give my take on it now, but for the most part, I agree with what you said, right? Like, I do agree largely that like they are now very different games, and that's always been the case, right? Like, Destiny launched as a very different game to Halo, and it's become faster over time, and I think that's the real difference. There's also and I know that this is something that Matt specifically enjoys, that there isn't any forethought needed in going in with respect to your loadout, right? Everyone gets loaded in the same, you're on an even keel, and it's how well you can control territory, how well you know the map, how well you know the spawns, how well you can, basically your positioning within the game determines what you have access to and how well you can use it, right? And I agree with that. And I think that's great. And in a game mode that's slower, in a game as a whole that's slower than something like Destiny, it does work. The things that I'm having trouble with aren't necessarily the fundamentals of Halo, which is that sort of stuff. Like, it's more like the polish of things, right? Like, to come from something, and look, at the time that I jumped into Halo, I hadn't played Destiny in 2.5 weeks. I've been playing Hell Let Loose almost exclusively and having a great time with it. And I jumped in and I did like my conversions and everything on my mouse sensitivity. So I know that everything was all right. We had, and it felt really shit. like the gunplay felt
I know a lot of people have said that. Like
shitty.
I haven't felt that. It's weird. I know other people have said the same thing, but I've felt like it's been completely fine.
It feels like, and I know that like there'll be people who'll be like,
I've hit more shots in Halo than I hit in Destiny, which is weird.
I feel like that probably isn't true, but maybe it is.
I've hit a lot more headshots with snipers in Halo than I do in Destiny.
Because
for me, it feels like people are like,
yeah, true. That's true.
Ass.
Look, and I'll say this: when you get a staple Halo gun, right? Like the sniper, it does exactly what you think it will do. And it like the sniper in itself, I've been cracking heads with that and you're right, like slowing down the slowed movement, the punish on someone, not thinking through their
they can't get out of the map.
They can't get out of it. So even if you are two-shotting them, you're putting them down. There's no quick slide back behind cover like you see in Destiny. But there is just this kind of and like I don't know. Look, this is a very vague kind of, like my take on it and things that I've bounced off a close group of mates, right? And that's really it. I'm not speaking to the thing as a whole. It feels like there's a latency in it and it doesn't necessarily feel crisp. And I know that people are going, oh, well, there's just no aim assist, just get good and all that sort of stuff. And that, look, be that as it may, that isn't Halo, man. Like, you go and load up Halo on a controller and the aim assist is so fucking strong that it'll actually turn your fucking, like, it will move you onto a body, right? If they're in front of you, it'll actually track. So I feel like there's like this base level of gunplay in games, and I'm not speaking solely about fucking Destiny here either. I'm talking like, because, I was playing fucking Hell Let Loose, where the guns just don't quite feel like they should. Right, I just there's something there, that's not quite right, and it speaks to me as like, this is going to come off incredibly savage, but I'll
just accept your opinion that's how you like. I haven't felt that way, and I'll accept that's how you felt with it. I haven't felt that way.
Okay, and look, that's maybe we play on a drastically different sensitivity or whatever, and it's not Look, there's wrist, mouse, aim.
But also, I mean, I play on a whole. I probably played a lot less Destiny PvP than you have in the last. Yeah, and
maybe it's that. Maybe it's that I've just become so accustomed to Destiny's bullet magnetism and like the little things that help you along. Yeah. That when they're not there, it feels very shitty for me. But I feel like there's a level of that is like that's where like that's part of the secret sauce that makes things feel right too. So stripping them all away makes them feel lousy. Not to labor on that point, but like the other thing is that this, and I know that this will just sound like this fucking Halo 3 flop.
Oh, go on,
but
saying.
I it's part of the package, right? When you go and load up, and you can go and do it right now, go and jump on the fucking Master Chief Collection, load up Halo 3, jump into a multiplayer map. Every gun feels like a tool, right? Every gun feels like it has its own place in a microcosm of different guns, right? Like the BR, like they're the staples. But even go and talk about something like the brute shot, right? Like it's kind of this, linear grenade launcher thing, but it's, it moves cars around. I feel like 80% of the guns that they've added are just shit. Like there's no reason to take off your pistol or your assault rifle unless you're getting a BR because you know what it does already, or a sniper rifle or something. The skewer is pretty cool, but most of the like run-of-the-mill weapons aren't interesting.
So I would say,
like,
obviously BR is incredibly good. Pistol's good once you got the shields off. Assault rifle or whatever the what do you call it?
AR. Look, it's
AR is incredibly good off the bat at medium ranges. Needler is really good at close range. It's essentially a guaranteed kill as long as you're doing a 1v1.
Yep.
you basically ain't losing with using a needler, which is fantastic. Sword is fantastic. It's always been fantastic.
Yeah, the
Sniper rifle's
sword.
been.
That's part of my issue is this. Part of my issue is that, like,
the new
it's
stuff
the
that
new
got
shit is
introduced.
shit.
Yeah, I agree. The new stuff
You
they
can't fuck
introduced-
with the sword. The sword does what the sword has always done. The hammer has done what it's done. The rockets look exactly the same and do what they do.
Yeah,
the sniper is the same thing.
I will give you that point. Some of the new stuff I don't feel like has a good role.
Yeah, and I don't. That's what I mean. Like, and comparing it to Halo 3, where there was probably less weapons as a whole, but they all felt like they had their place. This feels like here's kind of 4, 5, 6 weapons that you have lived with through the course of your Halo life, and then here's these other ones that you will rarely ever bother with because they're neither. They will neither assist you in doing anything outside of the.
Like the Ravager has the AOE, the fire on the grounds. There's like a energy sniper, which just feels like you're shooting Nerf bullets. It takes like a ridiculous.
And for me, like that, they feel like fucking Halo 4 guns. And
then
Halo
again,
5
actually,
guns.
but
and I'm just like,
I do like the light beam, the little. There's a trace rifle that.
It's pretty strong if you can shred someone with it. If you can hit him in the head with it.
Have you actually used the heat wave properly?
Probably
because
not.
that does shred too.
Like if you hit someone with the vertical.
Yes,
like,
with the vertical.
Okay.
You put it vertical, that actually fucking vaporizes me. So I'd see point. I reckon it's probably all the originals are still great. There's probably, I think it's 50-50 with the new shit they introduced.
And like to couch this into the biggest sentiment of them all, right? With Halo 4 and 5, they tried to do their own thing with Halo, right? And no one rated it.
Yeah.
Well, I can't say no one. Look, generally, Halo lost its luster for a lot of people, myself included. And with Halo Infinite, they've gone very hard at the like, oh, we're going back to what makes Halo Halo. And it kind of really does feel like they've gone back to what made Halo Halo in 2007. And while the engine is incredible, it looks great, the physics and all adds there, it does feel like playing a fucking game from a decade and a half ago. And I can't shake it. And I'm not even playing on the same input method that I was playing then. But I'm like, it still feels that way. It still feels like a game.
Saying, but I actually feel like it's
maybe
okay.
For some people, that's the thing that they go, this is great because of that. But for me, it's not. So like that's the kind of thing. And I think that like that for me makes Halo kind of lose its identity. That and my last and biggest bugbear of them all, the armor system, the way customizing your armor and all of that works is fucking shit house. It is abysmal.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It is designed to fuck you out of money, and that is it. And like they had that feedback. I saw a post on the fucking Reddit, the Halo Reddit. There was like, here is the feedback that was given to 343 1 year ago when they first displayed this system. It was universal that it was shit, that it was borderline predatory, that no one liked it, and they fucking ignored it and went with it anyway. Right? Because they can sell you the same fucking color.
No. People like the overall battle pass thing where you can go back at any point and you can level it up and you can unlock custom stuff. What people are upset about is the only way you get XP is by doing challenges, which progressively get more fucking bullshit.
That's an asshole.
Like at the moment, I'm stuck in the last 2 challenges, which is kill 5 ghosts in PvP.
What?
So, like people in a ghost.
People on a ghost. Good luck.
I've got to wait for someone to get in a ghost and kill them.
Yeah. Yeah, look, I mean, the way this whole game is monetized for a game
but also it's free. It's actual proper free though.
It's fucking not, man. Because they're going to sell the standalone campaign for $100.
Oh, well, maybe they took lessons from Destiny.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that that look, I live on a fucking high mountain that I can, throw fucking, lightning bolts down at the peasants who are monetizing their content. What I'm saying is that they traded so hard on this like idea of, look, you can do the battle passes whenever you want to do them and all of this. That's not where the fucking meat on the bone is for them. It feels so disingenuous because the way that the modularity, we want all the Spartans to be able to, you can design your own Spartan. You fucking can't. They're locked to subsets and then you've got to go through and unlock all the individual shit in that. And it's not even like you can't even load into the game and do what a fucking bot can do now. Like the bots have more individuality to them than a player. And it's just like have a fucking go. I don't know. Maybe it's just that we come from Destiny that, has always had that, you can wear whatever helmet with it, whatever chest piece. And on top of that, recently we've got transmog. So it's super free, right? Like the only thing you can't change the appearance of is a thing, but is an exotic, sorry. But that for me, it was one of the parts of it that I was excited about because I'm nerd out on the lore behind the armor pieces. And I was...
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any nostalgia for Halo armor and, I think I'll be honest, I think it all looks fucking dog shit compared to Destiny.
It does.
Who gives a fuck, a little tiny visor on top of your head?
Yeah, look, you've spent fucking 3 hours doing these challenges, you've unlocked a bit of plating for your forehead. Good on you. Like, who fucking cares?
Did you see what level 100 was in the free pass?
No.
Did you scroll to the end?
No, I haven't.
It was this grey armor plate.
I was so fucking angry, like looking through it because I'm like, oh, cool. I wonder when I can get the ODST helmet because it was the one that I always wore back in the. Just fuck you, log. You can't. You just have to buy, or if you change your armor set and you want to be red again, and it's not just the base shader, you got to buy it again.
I'll give it to you the battle pass. I'll give it to you about some of the weapons not feeling good. I'll give it to you about the customization. There you go.
Okay. The thing I will say is that for someone that I'm not a Halo fanboy, and quite clearly I haven't been for a long time. But for me, God, this is going to sound harsh, but for me, it sounds like it feels more like people poking around in the bones of something they didn't necessarily create than actually innovating and moving forward and making a game. And I know I'm not, it probably sounds really harsh, but it feels like, we need to dial this back and make it fucking Halo 3 again. And it's sort of, the whole thing for me is just rapidly losing its identity despite people wanting to cling to what it was. And it makes me fucking incredibly depressed because I love the story. Like, I love it, but it's sad. I'm going to continue to play it, and I know that I don't want to play with you, mate. I'm going to drop the negative shit about it because there are parts of it that are great. The fucking vehicle combat's great. There's fun to be had in it, and don't think that I'm saying that you can't. But it'll get me through to the next Destiny thing, and I think it will for a lot of people. And then I don't know where it goes beyond that. I just don't.
Yeah, I think a lot of Destiny players are probably in the same boat.
Yeah.
Well, I think what will save it is Forge and custom and more customization.
I have no idea where that fits into the scheme of it, and I hope that it really is a refreshing thing. Look, and I'll say this too.
Because I do think it'll be fucking sweaty.
Initially was very guilty of forgetting the fact that it is still effectively in beta. I hope things change and improve on launch and that sort of stuff. So I wanted to succeed. I just I'm fucking annoyed at it now. Right.
Yeah, you're angry. Look, I might not stream now. I'm just going to go fix. I'm going to do the PC off stream.
The PC.
I'm just going to finish it. People saw a little bit. They saw me drop the CPU.
And they saw me put the graphics card in. That's enough.
They saw it's just literally plugging in wires now and just troubleshooting
stuff. Righto. I am going to find someone to host. And I was going to try and find someone playing Halo Infinite, but no one is. I was trying to be a good sport. Right.
No one?
No, I mean, that I knew. I don't know. If you want to just go on.
Bless is on Halo Infinite.
Righto. Cool.
Nade God.
Yeah, no, Bless will do. I love Bless. Right. In this house, we love Bless. Right. I'll be live tonight. I'm going to play Halo. So you can come and hang out and...
Fuck off. I'm not playing with you.
I don't care whether you play with me, Matt.
Oh, okay.
I'm worried about you.
Yeah, but here's the fucking thing. When you and Sass get together, it just becomes negative Nancy's fucking
Oh
corner.
my god! Don't look.
I've already got one sassy in my life. I don't need you being a fucking extra sassy.
You know what the fucking funny thing I've realized is over the last week?
What?
When everyone else gets pissed off, it's like, okay, they're pissed off. When I get pissed off, everyone just like fucking vanishes. I'm not sure. I killed our chat several times just with my rage. I'm kind of proud of it and kind of terrified at the same time. So anyway, have a good weekend, eh? Maddie, go build your PC. Where will the law find people? Who fucking cares? Don't worry about it.
Fucking in the fallopian tubes.